Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you some more Blood Angels goodness. As you know, I have been churning through the contents of the new Blood Angels Army box set, showing you guys different videos so that you would be able to get this box set and get it on the table very quickly and without any hassle. I have already done the Death Company Dreadnought, a member of the Death Company, and of course Astaroth. I have Lemartes here, which is the concept for today's video. He is the miniature that I'm going to be showing you guys how to get on the tabletop. I have added the nice new wings to him because I really do like all my jump infantry for the entire Blood Angels force, well, Flesh Tearers force, are going to have those wings. So I think it's going to be really cool and I think it suits him really, really well. So that's the concept for today's video. So I hope you're excited for that. Before I get into it, as usual, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody out there that supports me in the myriad of different ways it is possible to support me, whether it's either by just watching the video, commenting, making sure you subscribe, liking the video. Those things cost you absolutely nothing, but they are massively helpful to me. If you want to go a step beyond that, you can become obviously a YouTube member down below, or in the description below you can check out my Patreon, and we're going to be starting to upload more unique videos to that as of next week, so you guys will get some extra content on top of everybody else. Okay guys, now without further ado, let's dive in and get this awesome model painted up. Okay guys, so this is one of the Death Company, the guy I did a previous video on, and as you see, I did indeed add a pair of awesome wings to him. These are 3D printed wings. I'm dubious about sharing where I got files from because I don't want to be responsible for files being taken down, so I do apologize. If you do a bit of rummaging around on cults, I'm sure you'll find them yourself, but I won't be sharing them, so don't ask for links or any of that jazz. I just like to play it safe. But like I said, I did tear his backpack back off Lemartes, and I got a set of those wings and was trying to make it fit. Obviously his Crozius got in the way, and there was kind of like a natural cut point that I could remove the end of his Crozius. I was dubious to do it, but in the end I thought the wings would look cooler and I just went for it. So I just cut the end of the handle off. Yeah, it was basically a shorter Crozius. I don't think it affected it too much once the wings actually glued in place with the backpack and everything. It worked. It kind of hid where that should be. Your mind doesn't look at the model and see anything missing, if you know what I mean. It looks proper, and I really like the silhouette of him with the wings. I love all the Blood Angels. All of my jump infantry for my Blood Angels are all going to have wings. I think it's absolutely immense. Sanguinary Guard and all them are going to have the glorious white wings, and then every member of the Death Company is going to have the rage-filled black wings. I'm going to be like the yin and yang elite troops of the army, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. So obviously this guy is Lemartes. If you do not know who Lemartes is, I'll give you a brief explanation as to who he is and what he's capable of. Okay, Lemartes is a Death Company chaplain and the warden of the Blood Angel chapter's infamous Death Company. Under his guidance, the Death Company has reached a new level of potency and lethality. Though Lemartes himself is afflicted by the accursed Black Rage, his formidable willpower has allowed him to remain in control of his actions, leaving him free to lead the Death Company in glorious charges that eclipse all the deeds of legend. Okay, so let's give you a little bit of the history and background of how exactly he came to be who he is. So, during the preparation to liberate the world of Hadreth 9, Chaplain Lemartes fell to the effects of the dreaded Black Rage. Unlike his fellow afflicted warriors of the Death Company, Lemartes survived the initial assault and seemingly unstoppable carved a bloody swathe through the Orc defenders. When the battle was finally won, only did Lemartes finally collapse from his numerous wounds. The mortally wounded Lemartes was brought to the Field Apothecarium to await the arrival of Astaroth the Grim, the Blood Angel's Redeemer of the Lost, to be granted the gift of a final redemption by the blade of his executioner's axe. Yet, when Astaroth arrived to deliver Lemartes into death's embrace, he demanded to live, to continue to smite the Emperor's enemies as long as he still drew breath. Such a thing had never occurred. Though Lemartes' eyes were bloodshot and his muscles taut with fury, his words were clear and continent. Most members of the Death Company that survive a battle were usually so deranged that Astaroth had to best them in combat before being able to take their lives. Never before had one challenged him in so lucid a fashion. Quashing all dissident, Astaroth ordered the chaplain placed in stasis and returned to Baal until the chapter's librarians and sanguinary priests could make a full examination of him. This investigation took several solar months, time in which Lemartes was largely kept in the chill embrace of stasis to ensure the safety of those around him. But the results seemed to reinforce Astaroth's hopes. Lemartes was unquestionably in the grip of the Black Rage, for all the physical signs were there. Yet, his mind was not riven with insanity. Though an act of incredible willpower, the Chaplain appeared able to hold his madness in check. Several sanguinary priests argued that this was but a temporary respite and that Lemartes would succumb to the utmost depths of madness once removed from stasis. But Astaroth was not sure. Refusing to slay Lemartes, so some of the sanguinary priests wished, he awoke the Chaplain from his enforced slumber and offered him a way in which he could continue to serve. So did Lemartes become the guardian of the lost and wielder of the ancient blood Crozius. He was repaid Astaroth's fate 1,000 times over, for the Death Company have never been so potent a force as they are under his guidance, their modern glories eclipsing deeds of the legend. He leads his charges in ever greater renown, ensuring that the dread sacrifice of the Blood Angels Death Company is never in vain. At battle's end, Lemartes is placed in stasis once more, to slumber through the solar weeks and months until his blood talents are required again. For Lemartes, there is no longer any calm between the storm. His life is one of constant battle, for he is awoken when needed and preserved when he is not. Surely the Chaplain is living on borrowed time, for even his formidable willpower cannot keep the Black Rage at bay indefinitely. Yet, for the moment at least, Lemartes' iron will continues to hold firm. For a chapter slipping into darkness, Lemartes stands out as a symbol of hope. For if Lemartes can continue to reason and continue to serve the chapter within the dark insanity of the Black Rage swelling within him, perhaps others can do so as well. So that's the story of how Lemartes was born. He obviously fell to the Black Rage and was able to keep his mind strong, his willpower strong. Astaroth saw something in him and then used him as the overall commander of all Death Company in the Blood Angels chapter. And then he leads large numbers of these guys into battle. So it's a pretty awesome thing. I think, another thing to be noted about is his specific Crozius, which is of course the Blood Crozius. This ancient master-crafted Crozius Arcanum was wielded by the first High Chaplain of the Blood Angels. Once it was handed down from Reclusiarch to Reclusiarch, yet after the warp-wrought death of High Chaplain Ranel, the warp weapon declared cursed. Now it finds battle clutched in the furious grip of Chaplain Lemartes. Its tainted power no concern to a warrior who knows he is already doomed. So this is obviously quite a grim, horrid weapon which did sit in stasis left alone for quite a number of years until it was gifted to him to be used in battle once again. A dangerous weapon wielded, which of course is Lemartes himself as well. So I like the kind of combination of the two of those. It's very, very cool. So you can see the painting style that I'm going for is very reminiscent of my Death Company, the one I did previously. The model got sprayed black and then it got sprayed lightly with lead belcher, and then we used black Templar and a bunch of other contrasts to build up the colors and tones on the model until it was time to shade it down. We used Nuln Oil to shade the entire model, and that gave us this awesome grim dark looking model. I think he looks so menacing as he currently is. I like that he is so dark and grim. So when I got to the stage where I needed to highlight him, I wanted all the highlights to stay on the verge of like darkness. So when it came to highlighting the bone on his face, I went for Morghast bone and then up into Ushabti bone. No screaming skull, nothing brighter, no pallid witch, nothing like that. I wanted it to be kind of dark and I don't know, brooding, if you will. Obviously gave him the bright red on his shoulder pad. Everything else in my army, except for, of course, Dante, Lemartes, and Astaroth, have a fleshed hair shoulder pad. But obviously these guys belong to the actual mother chapter, so I couldn't besmirch them by slapping a fleshed hair symbol on them. I don't think this guy gets loaned out to other chapters, but he may show up in times of need, leading large quantities of Death Company. You never know. His wings, of course, are being painted exactly the same way that I painted the Death Company, which is in the dark red wings. I took that idea from the Blood Angels Chaplain model with wings that exists on the Games Workshop website. They left them with these really dark Crimson-esque wings. All my Death Company are going to share that as well. I love this idea because it helps to break up all of the black that exists on them. Unfortunately, the Death Company that we have now, the miniatures, we have some transfers and some not very many upgrade parts. But obviously when we used to have the individual Death Company box set, the legs, the torso, the arms, the hands, chained like all of the bits and pieces scream Death Company. Now we have an Assault Intercessor that were just meant to paint black and make it look like a Death Company. It's not detailed enough for me, and that's where my 3D printing has come in, and where all those different parts to try and make them a little bit more and give me the excuse to put some extra color in the model in the form of that bright red. So obviously we use Mephisto on red and then Evil Sunz Scarlet to boost the color of the red Blood Angel's shoulder pad. Obviously all of the blood gems across his entire armor got done with the same thing. They got a coat of Mephisto on red, and then they got a little highlight of Evil Sunz Scarlet just to make them pop even more. And then this is the corn red color that we used to highlight those wings. The wings were of course covered with Flesh Tear's contrast, washed black, which gave us a really dark starting point. And then obviously the highlight of corn red is quite a simple thing, just going down each and every feather. Like I said, I'll give you a nice clean look, but it's not going to be super bright, vibrant blood red wings. We don't want that. The Death Company are supposed to be the dark soldiers of the Blood Angels force. But yeah, I'd love to know. Some people like the wings, some people don't like the wings. I'm a big fan of them. I just think they add so much to the model. And we have a large quantity of Assault Marines on the table fighting with Flesh Tears. You're going to see a whole host of wings, and it's going to look awesome, I think. My original Dante did not have, or my new plastic Dante, but I did him a while ago now. I'm going to have to pull his backpack off because I didn't have access to these wings when I did him, and now he's going to be the kind of like only assault model that exists without wings. The wings that I'm actually using are called Dante's wings on Cult, so yeah, they're for him, so I should probably stick a pair on him, give him the beautiful white wings, especially since I'm going to be adding them to all the Sanguinary Guard that I do as well, and they're going to have the beautiful white wings. Going back in with standard lead belcher and highlighting up all the metallics again, not the gold, sorry, just all the silver parts. So the rest of his Absolver bolt pistol, and then all the kind of silver trim that exists around his arm. He's got quite a lot of silver trim. I'm just gonna take your time, make sure to get them all highlighted up. Jumping over to Liberator Gold and highlighting the head of the Blood Crozius, and then of course there's a couple of other gold details. The casing of his pistol, chain around his neck, the Iron Halo style thing across the top, and then a few other bits and pieces. So make sure you get all those with Liberator Gold just to make them stand out a little bit more. Liberator Gold is a great highlight for Retributor. And that's basically the last detail I'm going to do. Obviously I did things like red eyes and some silver details here and there, so other bits that I'm sure you guys can pick out if you find them. And this was the final result. This is my finished Lemartes Guardian of the Lost miniature. I love how he turned out. I'm so pleased with it. Yeah, I can't wait to field him with a bunch of Death Company and see how he does in the game. I'm excited to use him more than anything else, because he wasn't somebody I thought about a lot before now, but now that I have a fully painted model, I've learned a little bit more about his backstory. I'm kind of excited to see what he can do. His rules seem pretty gnarly as well, and he's not overpriced, so I think he might actually have a place in the army, and I can't wait to see it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you're looking forward to more Blood Angels videos in the near future when we get our hands on those. But for now, enjoy. Okay guys, and there we have it. Lemartes is finished up. I'm really pleased with the result, and he has been added to the collection. So that's it for this particular box set when it comes to me making videos for it. There's 4 primary different miniatures in here, and I've given you a video on each and every one of them. You, as well as I, know that there's more Blood Angels releases coming very soon, and I will of course be doing some videos showing you those beautiful new Sanguinary Guard, the Sanguinor, the new Sanguinary Priest, and the new Captain. So there's a whole bunch of extra content. So if you are a big Blood Angels fan and you want to see more content around those, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those future videos, or if you're just a Space Marine or Imperium fan. In fact, if you're any fan, just subscribe. It's easy. It costs you nothing, means everything to me. And don't forget to check out becoming a YouTube member or checking out the Patreon link down below. Thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.